Alright everybody, we're level here at 41,000 feet, getting ready for top of descent, which is coming up 14 nautical miles from now actually. So I'll go ahead and set the altitude to 2,000 feet. I'm not sure what the approach charts has. I'll take a peek in a second, but I want to put something in there so the top of descent will initialize properly. Looks like we'll be using auto brake max, which is looks like the sim just paused. Hang on a second. I'm gonna pause it. Yeah, that was the top of descent where it pauses automatically. At any rate, it's saying according to TopCat, I should use auto brake max for runway 22 left. I've actually never used auto brake max before, never had to, but I don't know. Runway's 8,400 feet long, so I guess it feels that in order to have the proper landing weight margin, that I need to use auto brake max. So that's what I'll use on this one. I'll go ahead and open up this for a second here. So it'll be Star ILS Cat 1. The mins on the approach are for 22 left. Cat 1 is 200 feet, half a mile, so we'll leave that as is. Auto brake will be max auto. We'll see how that goes. It's the first time I've ever done that. Won't turn on APU, ground radar, we'll leave it off. It'll be a gate. No special concerns. So let's do the briefing. So approach briefing, or excuse me, are you ready for your approach briefing? Are you ready for the approach briefing?
Go ahead.
Alright, we'll be taking the Lindy 6 arrival into JFK. We'll follow it as charted. Be ILS Cat 1 at 22 left. Mins are 200 feet. It'll be barrel. Landing config flaps 30. Runways drive. We'll be using max auto. APU, no, don't worry about turning it on. And ground radar, leave it off. We will be arriving at a gate. Looks like the gate will be a Terminal 7, Gate 6, I believe. No special concerns. Any questions? Oops. Any questions?
No questions.
Approach briefing complete. Gino 230. Alright, so we'll turn on the vertical speed. And we'll just make that 500 feet because I'm starting the initial descent a little bit too soon as I'm plugging in the crossing restrictions. So supposed to cross Gino, flight level 230, and after that we'll cross Lindy at flight level 190, 250 knots. So putting that in the box to make sure I have those. So 250, and we'll pull up the, so 250 at, what was it again, 190, put that in there. So that's at Lindy, and after that, there's no further restrictions on the arrival, or crossing restrictions. So we'll catch back up the verticals. Looks like we're getting close to it already, so I'll go ahead and turn the VNAV back on. VNAV. Looks like the first officer, well, she just completed her descent flow. So we'll take care of the descent checklist. Descent checklist, please.
Stand by. Descent checklist. Call. Check. Notes.
Checked.
Auto brake max auto. Landing data.
VREF 134, minimums 200 feet set.
VREF 134, minimum 200 feet.
completed.
Descent checklist complete.
Alright, so we have that done. So now we will monitor, make sure we're arriving on our star as we expect to, making our cross restrictions as needed. Not a bad a day out there, got some high sears. But yeah, I've never used Auto Brake Max before. I'm interested to see just how quickly it's going to stop. Because looking at the airport diagram, taxiway hotel is the high speed. It's about halfway down the runway. And I don't know if I'm going to stop too soon. I don't like to stay on the runway too long, especially if you're doing a VATSIM flight. You want to try to get off as soon as you can. So that's something I do try to consider. Usually I do auto brake 2 or 3. But looks like today we'll be doing auto brake max. So I guess we'll go ahead and plug in the 22 left into the flight management computer. So 22 left. We won't worry about the transition, I don't guess. Let me look back on the approach chart. It's a DPK. Alright, so we'll put that in there. Check it out in the box. So we got that. Alright, looks good. Alright, so everything looks good. We are right on track for the descent course. I'm going to request the winds for descent winds one more time. Just try to get the most accurate ones I can since we started our descent here. So I'm going to request those. Still waiting, and there they are. So we'll load them up. Let's see if they change any. Looks like they're still the same, so it didn't matter. So we're coming up on Geno, 8 nautical miles away. Supposed to cross it at flight level 230. So it looks like we're on target for that. Alright, so 1,000 feet to go until we get to Geno. So looks like the profile wanted to level out here for just a second before it goes back down. So now we're should start to go back down to the next cross restriction, which is 190. This will probably be pretty shallow because they only have 4,000 feet to go until we're at 190, so I probably won't descend very fast. Lindy intersection is roughly 50 nautical miles ahead of us, so it shouldn't take that long to descend 4,000 feet. Alright, so it looks like we just begun to make our march towards flight level 190 at Lindy. Also, we have to cross at 250 knots, so I don't know, I might have to pull out the speed brakes, maybe. We'll see. You always want to stay ahead of the airplane if you can, you know, especially when you're flying a heavy like a 777, you know, because sometimes it's hard to get caught back up on the descent path if you get behind. It happens sometimes, but you want to do your best, you know, to stay ahead of the airplane and stay ahead of the descent profile. So looks like there's a little green bubble on the magenta line, which I do believe that represents where it will begin to slow to 250 knots. So we'll see if I need the speed brakes when that happens. Alright, so yeah, it just rolled back. So it looks like now the speed's starting to try to come back now. I'm noticing we're almost 400 feet above our glide path, so I kind of want to keep an eye on that, make sure we don't get too far away from that. The plane's going to pitch up to try to slow down, but when you pitch up, you don't descend as fast, but that should be built into the profile for the VNAV path, so hopefully it'll take care of that, but just have to keep an eye on it to make sure. So on the first approach fix for runway 22 left, the crossing altitude is 3,000 feet or above. So I'm going to go ahead and set that to 3,000 there. Alright. I'm going to try to make that descent, obviously. Looks like we have to go past LaGuardia VOR first before we start that. I'm going to pull out the speed brakes here just a little bit. Try to help out. We're 600 feet above our intended path, so, and that just suddenly started to increase exponentially, so I'll open up the speed brakes a little more. As a matter of fact, let's go flight level change. So flight level change, and we have 240 set for the speed, so we'll try to get down a little quick here. Alright, so we approach the transition altitude, so let's see what the weather is over in JFK. Alright, so 170 at 6, 10 statute, few 15,000, broken 25,000, temp 14, dew point 11, and our altimeter is 3034. Alright, so 3034 on the altimeter. So I will set that 3034. Alright. Let's get an approach checklist done. Approach checklist, please.
Approach checklist. Altimeters.
3034 set.
2992. Approach checklist complete.
Not really sure why she's getting 2992. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, now we're a solid 4,000 feet above our VNAV path, but that's fine because we got to make the downwind for 22 left. Now set a range around that. Okay. Five nautical mile bubble around JFK there. Just kind of helps me to know where my downwind should be. Oops. Also realize I need to set my mins. Should I have that done already? Let's go heading hold.
Check.
Then heading select.
Check.
So we're going to break off the approach phase now. We're going to start our downwind for runway 22 left. Alright, get the mins completed. Alright, so they're set at 200. It's quite high crossing restriction, 190 at Lindy. It makes it kind of difficult to get the plane down. I'm not sure how this is done in the real world. You know, I don't know if they break that off or is that typically what they get, but that's what's charted. So I'll try to fly it as such. Let's see, I got the speed brakes out full. Trying to get it down as quick as we can. So let's get this set up. The course is 225. Got a long way to go before we get down to 3,000, that's for sure.
10,000 feet.
Alright, so 10,000 feet, so I'll turn on the wing inspection lights. She's got the rest of the lights.
Cabin crew, prepare for landing.
Alright, so I was trying to break off the downwind a little bit to get a little more space, and now I'm going to bring it back to the reciprocal of 225. Which should be 045. So when we get it down to 5,000 feet, I'll make my turn. It should be a decent estimate as to when to make the downwind and still be able to make the glide slope. So I'm going to slow to 210 here. Alright, so I'm going to start making a turn here. I should be low enough now that I can make this work. So I'm going to start heading for base leg. I'm going to go ahead and put the vector in there as well. Alright, so we're going to arm the localizer. Alright, so localizer armed. So it looks like the localizer must have just picked up heading bug just changed. At least I hope that's what that means, otherwise my heading bug just changed for no reason. Alright, so localizer is on. Got the sparkling water of the bay here.
1,000 feet to level off.
Alright, so we'll change that. So speed brakes are back up now, so we're going to level off here at 3,000. Level off at 3,000 until we catch up to the glide slope. I'm sure JFK is somewhere in the distance at our 12 o'clock. And there's the glide slope. So we'll arm the approach. Alright, so we'll go flaps 5. Let's see here. Flaps 5.
Speed check, flaps 5.
We'll go ahead and bring the speed down to 190. Alright, so missed approach altitude is 3,000 feet. That's, I believe, is what is already set. That is correct. Alright, so here comes the glide slope. We'll try to get it to slow to 180. Flaps 15.
Speed check, flaps 15.
We'll set the speed brake. Hopefully I won't need the speed brake.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure what she thinks I said. Alright, so we'll go ahead and dial in our VREF plus 5. So VREF is
Radio altimeter alive.
134, so VREF plus 5 is 139.
Cabin crew, take your seats.
Alright, so the plane isn't slowing down much, so it's probably going to take the gear coming down to get it to slow. I typically don't like to drop the gear before final approach fix. Alright, so 1 nautical mile from there, so gear down. Gear down. And there's JFK. Scenery just loaded. I gotta tell you, that's what I say about these 777s. They don't want to slow down. Flaps 25.
Speed check, flaps 25.
I mean, the plane is just not slowing down at all.
Check.
Flaps 30.
Speed check, flaps 30. Approach not stable.
She says the approach is not stable. We'll get it there. Alright, so switching off the autopilot. Landing checklist.
Landing checklist. Landing checklist complete.
So with the 777, SOP is typically to let the auto throttle deal with the speed. So I'm going to hand fly it in now. And the only thing I'm looking for when I'm flying it in is I try to make sure that the runway appears to be going straight ahead off into the distance and not veering to the left or the right. Typically, if you're left or right of course, the runway will appear to go to the left or the right from the threshold to the end of the runway. So I try to watch the end of the runway and just keep it lined up the best I can to stay down the center line. Getting a little bit low, so I'll make a quick adjustment. Alright, so there we go.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Alright, I guess we're going to find out what that auto brake max is like.
100. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Speed brakes up. Reversers normal. 60 knots.
Alright, manual braking. And look at there, there's Taxiway Hotel. So I guess auto brake max was appropriate. Go figure. Alright, so get off the runway here. Okay to clean up. And we are here at John F. Kennedy International, and I still have the I've got it muted so she doesn't hear me. Okay to clean up.
Check.
Alright, so see, I'm looking for taxiway Zulu, and there's Zulu there, so I'll take a right on Zulu. Yeah, I guess auto brake max wasn't a bad choice there. I guess Top Cat got it right. Got me off at the first intersection, that's for sure, at the high speed. So we'll take Zulu, then we'll come up on runway 22 right. Once we get to runway 22 right, looks like we'll cross over to Foxtrot, then on to Alpha. And then we'll take Alpha to the gate, which should be to our left at that point. I'm texting a little fast there. 30 knots isn't the speed you want to taxi at. It's a little quick. I have the friction settings different. Downloaded the what's it called, FS2CREW dynamic friction file. So I did that because I wasn't able to do a single engine taxi for my taxi outs, and so it definitely allowed me to be able to do that. I guess sometimes the problem is when you're lightly loaded, especially after you've arrived and you burn off a bunch of gas and you're not as heavy as you normally are, you tend to taxi really fast even though you don't have any thrust being applied to the engine at all. So you have to kind of watch that. So I do believe this is Alpha we're coming up on now. Looking at the taxiway sign, yeah, there it is to the left, taxiway Alpha. So we'll take a right on Alpha. I like the JFK scenery, especially how they have the look that the runways and taxiways are contaminated with snow, which I guess typically it would be this time of year. Some of the gates, if anybody's thinking about buying the JFK scenery, I think it's pretty good. So that's what I mean. Without any thrust being applied, I just went from 15 to 21 knots. So I actually have to use braking just to keep it at 20 knots or less. Alright, so let's see if we can get our GSX going here. So it's terminal 7. Should be gate 6. I do not want a follow me. And I guess we will let American Airlines handle it. See if I can get an outside view here. Not a bad paint job from Fusion Airways there, I must say. Lights and doors. Oops, I always forget to turn the mic back on. Lights and doors.
Cabin crew disarm doors and cross-check.
I've never satisfied the parking of GSX. Every time I do it, it always says I either went too far or too far to the left or something. I've kind of given up on even trying to get it spot on. We'll see. There's a little marshaller guy. Let me zoom in here a little bit. He's standing inside of the back cart. That's interesting. You still want me to the left, eh? I'm pretty sure I'm not lined up with the J line there, but I'll trust you. Alright, so it's giving me the slow down signal, trying to creep forward. Try not to hit the jet bridge in front of me. Hey, how far is this gonna go? Alright. Okay, now my parking brake doesn't want to set. Alright, so we'll shut down the right engine. We should get GXC to hook up the ground power automatically if it's set up right. I don't know. We'll see. She's already started her shutdown flow. That makes me nervous. She shouldn't be doing that. Oh, there we go. So we got those on. So now I can shut down the left engine. I thought she was supposed to start the shutdown flow after both engines are shut down. Maybe I'm wrong on that. There's the bridge coming up. Chocks are in. So looks like the bridge is hooked. I'll go ahead and get the deboarding process started for the ground equipment.
Go ahead.
I am ready for the checklist.
Shutdown checklist.
Shutdown checklist. Parking brake.
Set.
Shutdown checklist complete.
Alright, so we're all done there. Only thing left to do is the passengers going to deboard. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If I did anything wrong, feel free to comment. Always interested in trying to learn a little more. Anyways, until next time, see ya.